of Summer Wells right before she disappeared in 2021. Um, this is at Sensabaugh Tunnel. If you haven't heard about Sensabaugh Tunnel, it's a place that is allegedly haunted. Uh, Reverend Donna Serafina has spoke a lot about this place and allegedly says that this is the place that holds a lot of the keys to what happened to Summer Wells. If you choose to believe that, that's you. Just put the information out there. Anyway, in the past few months, uh, there was another, excuse me, not another, a unaliving that happened at Sensabaugh Tunnel, where they ended up finding the man's remains at Sensabaugh Tunnel, but the uh, killers, alleged killers, in Saltville, Virginia. Um, if you're not familiar where that is where the cop that drove to California and unalived uh, the parents and grandparents of a 15-year-old girl. Austin Lee Edwards was his name. There's a big to-do going on with that right now, where the family is suing the Washington County Sheriff's Office.
Well, it was Christmas Eve and he showed up out of the blue, drunk as fuck.
At your house?
At our house, he showed up here, drunk as shit. And he tried to talk Donnie into going into town with him. And, he was high on fucking dope and everything.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm not going to town with you. Lil Wayne Morelock, you can look him up. He'll be on the internet.
Okay.
He molested a kid that was 18 years old and threw him outside on a freaking dish line on his deathbed. And then there's a lot more information on him too.
Do you think he had something to do with Summer?
Well, Donnie said when Summer come up missing that he went over to his house.
Dawn went over to this guy's house?
Yeah.
Huh. Why would he do that?
I don't know.
That's kind of odd.
There's a lot of unanswered questions that I want answered, but I can't ask them of Donnie because he'll flip out.
Hawkins County man accused of throwing his drinking buddy out of a car earlier this year, putting the victim in a coma and possibly causing permanent brain damage, was arrested this week on a sealed indictment warrant. Wayne Douglas Morelock, 44, 131 Harris Hollow Road, Rogersville, was indicted June 1st by a Hawkins alleged to have occurred on March 21st. Hawkins County Sheriff's Office Detective Keith Long said Morelock admitted to punching Jeffrey Adams in the head with the back of his hand 5 to 6 times that night while they were driving along Van Hill Road in the Beech Creek community. However, police suspect that Adams was thrown from a moving vehicle due to the severity of his injuries. Morelock was driving around 9:40 p.m. that night, and Adams was in the passenger seat. Morelock reportedly stated that both men were both highly intoxicated at the time, having consumed some Beech Creek moonshine. Morelock reportedly stated that Adams was putting his hand on Morelock's arm and laughing and wouldn't remove his hand when told to do so. Morelock allegedly said that after Adams refused to remove his hand after 3 or 4 requests, he struck Adams with the back of his hand 5 to 6 times. But Morelock denies throwing Adams from the moving vehicle. Adams was discovered at the intersection of Beech Creek Road and Van Hill Road by an occupant of a vehicle that had been traveling behind Morelock. The driver of that vehicle saw Morelock's taillights and reportedly observed him pull out of the intersection rather fast before the witness found Adams injured on the side of the road. Mr. Morelock said they had been involved in a fight inside the car, and he stopped and got out, walked around the side of the car and pulled him out of the car and left him there, Long said. With the severity of the injuries, it would stand to reason he was thrown out of a moving vehicle, but we can't prove that 100%. Sponsored content: Why I'm Never Going to an Audiologist Again, by Atticus. Adams was in a coma for 3 weeks after the incident and is currently in a nursing home, where he remains unable to communicate or care for himself. Long said the incident created an uproar in the Beach Creek community among people who wanted instant justice against Morelock. We held off on the charges because we didn't know if Mr. Adams was actually going to survive, Long said. His injuries that were reported by the hospital were very severe. He had an occipital bone fracture and another bone in the back of his skull that was fractured. The way they described it to us was like a car wreck when your brain bounces around in your skull. An attempted murder charge was considered, but Long said the Attorney General's office felt they wouldn't be able to prove intent, that he meant to kill Adams. However, Long said Adams' injuries are too severe to have been caused by the back of Morelock's hand. We're going to have a lot more medical opinion than we've got now, Long said. There was a huge uproar in the community about this case, and it started with a friend of the family. They wanted instant justice, and we weren't prepared at that time to take any action. I explained to the victim's family what was going on and the reason for the delay, and he agreed with that. Aggravated assault is a Class C felony punishable by 3 to 6 years for a standard offender, although Morelock has previous robbery and aggravated assault convictions on his record which could enhance sentencing if he is found guilty. Morelock was arrested Wednesday, and as of Friday was being held in the Hawkins County Jail on $30,000 bond pending arraignment and criminal court on August 31.